Other interesting cultural news, you have Riley Gaines, a new WNBA player, knocking down the famous Caitlin Clark, or I forget her first name. Nevertheless, this is the most famous sports balls player for the WNBA in years. Prior to Clark, the only famous person people knew from the WNBA was the unpatriotic pothead. What was that name? The Brittany Griner? Looks like a dude. The pothead who went to Russia, which does not, as youth might say, they're not down with the drugs, got arrested, and then we traded the Lord of War for someone who doesn't stand for the American anthem and someone who hates America. Again, that person is Griner. And we trade. If you ever watched the film Lord of War starring Nicolas Cage, based off a phenomenal book and a real life person who was a successful arms dealer international, and we traded a WNBA player for the Lord of War. We had him in custody. We sent him out. That's pretty much the only famous person we knew about the WNBA. Now we have Clark, who is so famous, they might make a profit this year. I'm not saying the odds are high. It's probably 1.08275,973. But nevertheless, that's not zero, and that's infinitely more than what it was prior to Clark joining the WNBA. So maybe they'll make their first profit ever this year. Maybe. Probably not, but there is renewed interest. Now, needless to say, Mrs. Clark's reception by the WNBA and other players is not very warm, with many of them having openly racist comments to her and now physically knocking her over. Now, this comes with thanks to another famous female athlete who stood up for women's rights, known as Riley Gaines, which she doesn't have her own like a casein protein drink or protein whey powder. Like, her name is Gaines. How do you not capitalize with a supplement? I partially digress. Like, Riley Gaines says, quote, her, quote, 1 white privilege, 2 straight privilege, 3 pretty privilege, and 4 tall privilege didn't help her here, huh, Sonny? This was also reposted by Barstool Sports. It looks like at Barstool Sports got 23.1 million views. And it's only about 14 seconds long, and I apologize. I apologize because it's a clip from WNBA game, so it might feel like an eternity in punishment. I know it's not going to be fun, but we'll suffer through this together. This will actually be the first clip I've ever seen of the WNBA game, and probably ever. So yeah, you're starting off with a big old gal, and she's gonna bump into Clark.
And Clark.
So bam, just out of nowhere. So Clark is just standing there. The ball's not around him, and granted, I'm not a sports ball aficionado, but I know that in order to have contact, you're supposed to have something to do with the ball, and ideally it goes into the basket. I don't know if they lowered a couple feet for the WNBA so they can dunk. I'm not sure about the nuances of that.
And Clark.
And just bam, bumps into Clark so hard, Clark falls down.
I mean, that's clear, which was called.
Ooh, there's a good picture of the. Wow. I don't want to say she's on testosterone supplements, but the gal who hit Caitlin, or Clark, looks like a big gal. Let's see here. Let's see, we'll play the rest of it.
The question is, will they call it unnecessary? Kennedy Carter.
Oh, damn it. Are they trying to make us learn another name for the WNBA? I'm not going to learn it. Hopefully not. Yeah, literally just out of the blue. So it looks like someone on the other side of the field, the green. Kidding, I know they play on wood. But yeah, just bam. And I was just, at least, this might be the most effective sponsorship AT&T's done in probably 5 years, because they have the logo on both of their jerseys. And she falls. And whoa. They got a testosterone monster over there.
Clear, which was called. The question is, will they call it unnecessary? Kennedy.
I want to say the other one. If you're just listening, you should feel blessed because, yeah, the gal who hit Clark, she is. Let's just say she's not going to win any beauty pageant contest. At least for the people who have eyeballs. Yeah. Just complete lack of class. I mean, there are some sports where you get accolades for actually, bumping into each other. Like, that's half the reason people tune in to watch hockey. Let's be honest. For basketball, I mean, it's known for what? Running around and doing slam dunks. I'm trying to think what else basketball's known for. Yeah, that's pretty good. And just knocked it right down. And it went viral. Again, it's got 24.1 million views. With some of the top comments coming from Paul Zazupa saying, quote, imagine if races were reversed. This is important no matter what the race. ban the assailant from the WNBA and have her prosecute on cocaine. 1.9 thousand likes, which not going to prosecute here for, well, first of all, it's a WNBA game. I mean, so you'd almost think this, what's a nice way of saying, cruel, mentally vacuous individual who knocked over Clark, unsportsmanlike, an ass. I mean, thanks to this interaction, we're talking about the WNBA, which is a rare thing to make. To make that, I struggle to even call it a sport. To make it even moderately interesting is a tough challenge. I mean, it is tough. So at least it's moderately interesting, this thing. Granted, it's not interesting for the right reasons. It's just I'm not going to watch a game because of this. It just, if anything, decreases my perception of the value and the morality in sports. Let's be honest. That's a topic for another time based on who they employ. But yeah, in terms of this, yeah, she's not going to get prosecuted. I mean, the ref maybe should have given her a penalty or a fee or something. The Texas one also says Caitlin should leave the league, let them go back to having 500 fans a game, getting 3.3 thousand likes, which, okay, let's be honest, they probably have like 300 fans per game. Again, all the girls on the court, they have family members. Now, that's a true testament to family loyalty. If you have a family member who's in the WNBA, would you go to their game? Like, oh, that's a tough pill to swallow. Like, you'd have to really, that's a true test. You'd have to really love that family member to go to that game. Even worse, what if you didn't have, that'd be the most cruel thing in the world. Like, if you're doing the IT for a large public venue or for a stadium that hosts a WNBA game, the cruelest thing you could ever do would be to throttle the internet to the point where everything just loads like a 1991 dial-up computer. So they couldn't really use apps or the internet. So they'd be forced to actually watch the game every second. Oh my gosh, that might be in one of the newest. It might be in the updated version of Dante's Inferno. Now you have Seth Dillon, who's the I think he's the co-founder or founder of the wnba. He said messed up, getting 743 likes. Gerald TM says, imagine hating a person that could possibly save your profession, getting 6.5 thousand likes. Which, I mean, they're not going to. The WNBA will never go away because they're sugar daddy, the NBA, which has been subsidizing them for, well, ever since it started. The WNBA loses money every single year, which is hilarious because, I mean, women always say, oh yeah, it's because men hate it. Well, about half of the U.S. is women. So if every woman tuned into WNBA and paid for the merchandise, paid for the tickets, I mean, they'd be a multi-billion-dollar enterprise like the NBA, as opposed to a rudimentary $200 million a year company that loses money. Now, Rob Bizzle says history has gone full circle. Caitlin Clark, the Jackie Robinson of the WNBA, getting 4.3 thousand likes. Amy McDonald says if the tables were turned, Caitlin would be arrested for a hate crime, getting 380 likes. Let's see here. DSC Crypto says Caitlin Clark for the win. And Caitlin Clark said, quote, I wasn't expecting that, but it's just like respond, calm down, and let your play do the talking. That's it. It is what it is. Like, quote. Getting 388 likes, which that is class. The other girl is ass, and not in a good way, obviously. You'd especially know that if you tuned in or watched the show visually. Let's see here. Rose says the girl in the blue, the girl in the blue should be permanently suspended and never allowed to play again, getting 156 likes. Now it is funny because no one knows anyone in the WNBA prior to Clark. Like, she's the only one people know. And again, she's a phenomenal player. She throws the ball into the hoop many times, like, precisely. And yet, yeah, I think that'd be the nicest thing you could do to support Caitlin. Another nice thing to do is just be passive aggressive. Be like, actually, I might do that myself. Just refuse to learn that other girl's name. The girl in blue is a good way to describe her. Although she might be a man, I don't know. Now, Jay Perry says Caitlin brought the inner city home, fixed it up, dumped millions into it. Then the ghetto showed up to destroy it, getting 775 likes. Iron Sharpens Iron Trading says Caitlin Clark is one of the most hated person in basketball history. Can't believe the WNBA allows her best player in history to be treated like this. She's the only reason people are watching. And getting 2.8 thousand likes, which, yeah, she is. Nobody gave a damn about WNBA before that. And even now they're not profitable. Will they because of Caitlin Clark? I don't know. There's a small chance it could happen, but yeah, they should probably do more to, protect the one person that's making anyone give a modicum of interest to your futile sport. DNO says they had better find her, and it needs to be a significant amount for this player to feel it in her paycheck. so like $35, unquote, getting 2.6 thousand likes. Eddie Melt says the WNBA will fine her $20, getting 684 likes. See here. Thomas Anderson says when the NBA players don't play like this, you become upset. You label them as soft and recall Dennis Rodman's iconic clothesline. A contrarian statement? Way. Is this person a WNBA player? Apparently not. Let's see here. Do one or two more. Are there any other contrarian statements? Liberty or Liberaki says the WNBA, we won't stand for this behavior. Also the WNBA, huh? I didn't think it was possible to actually cry yourself all the way to the bank, but here we are. 41 likes for that one. Hacking Proton says, why do I think this is a man with ponytail? Getting 42 likes. Well, probably on a fair amount of testosterone supplements. A lot of people are calling for a suspension. That's not going to happen. So it'll be interesting to see, for this type of drama, keep the interest in the WNBA high. Do you think people will actually become more inspired to actually pay for a ticket? Will people actually buy a jersey for a WNBA player? I've never seen one in the real world. I assume they exist. They have to sell jerseys. Probably. Have you ever seen one? Let me know in the comments. As always, I'd be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in. Again, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you could click that button, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, leaving a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment is a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take the time to tell your family, tell your coworkers, tell your friends, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.